Hello, everyone. We are back again after a long time to Voice of Australians, our channel. And here is my show named as Ikigai with Alina. Again, explaining the reason of Ikigai as always, that Ikigai is reason for being. Everyone has a different reason for being. Today, we are discussing subjective aspect of time. We see so many people always have time for everything. They are having work life balance, they are managing everything quite effectively. And some of us are struggling just to get 1 second out of our day. We feel always so much tired or so much lethargic that we don't have enough time. Not sure how these people manage so many things a day that we can just dream of. But to discuss all of these, we are today here with Ambreen. Hi, Ambreen, how are you?
Hi, Alina. I'm well. How are you?
Good, good. So, Ambreen, it won't be wrong to say that you are an inspiration, especially for Eastern women like me, because I know it's really hard to manage family life, your career, your ambitions. And I have seen so many people who are really close to my heart, my relatives, my family, and really good friends or really close females who were so much ambitious, who really wanted to work on their career. But after getting married or after having kids, they felt like their life or career has stopped. But for you, it has not, because when I saw your or discussed your journey, I was like, how she's doing it all, how she's having it all. You are one of the person who always has a good family, kids, husband, and then ambition, career, and not just one career. You do so much that we will discuss in show. So let me know about your journey, how you started, and of course you are from the same country I am, and I know the culture background now it's progressing, but I know that still so many women leave their career or put full stop of being too much ambitious tag. So, what's your journey? How and why you started this?
So, Alina, I think I have always been very ambitious, but when I was little, I think it was brushed under the carpet. It's kind of brushed away because you're only a girl, and we'll see. What will happen once you get married, right? So I know that for women of Eastern background, I mean, women of the subcontinent, very often life is supposed to begin once you get married. Um, so for me, if I look back to my journey, I was always quite privileged in the education that I received and the guidance that I received from my parents and the wider circle that I was part of while I was in Pakistan. But I landed in Australia almost 12 years back. And once I landed, so I was already a qualified teacher, but I was keen to pursue my higher studies. So I came here. Although I got married and came to Australia, so my move to Australia 12 years ago was when I got married. And when I first came in, I was also studying, I was doing my master's in educational leadership. And that time was actually quite hard because if I'm newly married, I'm also studying, and it's a new country. So it was quite hard. But because I was keen to make my mark, make a place, I immediately began working, and I started working in the tutoring industry.
Hmm.
And because I was a qualified teacher but newly arrived, um, most of the tutoring centers were happy to have me because I wasn't charging an arm and a leg. I wasn't saying, whatever whatever teachers were charging back then. I was happy to take whatever I was getting because I wanted to kind of get well versed with the industry. And that's when I recognized that there was a massive problem, not only in the overall way everyone treats kids when they're students in primary school, because I mean we think there are issues with the Pakistani system, but then when I came to Australia I realized very similar problems existed exist to date here. Um, so the entire country, even in Australia, like Pakistan, there's things are happening, but in Australia also, everything's test focused. You're worrying about NAPLAN, you're worrying about selective school admissions, you're worrying about admissions into a private school or a scholarship exam. So test, test, test. And then it's very reactive as well, the education industry, because I am a pure educationist in the real sense of the word, with all the training that I've had. So there's this reactive industry, and I feel like that is such a bad way to teach kids, because you're reacting. Either you're worrying about a test, or my child is not doing well, so I'll get them some help. So I wanted to do something different. And this idea was brewing in my head for years. And so, when you talk about, how did you start? This literally started 10 years ago, 11 years ago. And it was an idea that was in my head. But, I just kept brewing in my head. And I was still working. I began teaching as a teacher at a school. And then I was working with ESL students, so teaching English to speakers of other languages, because that's why my second master's was in. I did a master's in TESOL. And so this idea is brewing in my head that we need to do things differently. The education that we're providing our kids doesn't need to be so reactive, and it doesn't need to be so uh, test focused, right? Can we work on building skills that are going to last these kids a lifetime? Can they enjoy their learning? And so that was something that was happening. But this didn't happen up until almost 3 years ago. So Fun Fox, my fourth baby. So I've got two human babies, and I've got another business, and then I've got Fun Fox. So Fun Fox actually finally happened almost 3-4 years ago, when certain circumstances kind of led to the creation of the Fun Fox program, led to the creation of this extremely loved program that I now run with the help of a lot of people. Yes, of course, you can never be a one-man army, but it is now running quite successfully, and I'm quite pleased that the journey that I have taken. So sometimes when we talk about time, Alina, we need to consider that we need to give time. Like, if I had decided to do this the moment I arrived in Australia, now I've arrived, now let's do something. This, where I'm at right now with the two businesses and the family that I have, it's taken me time. It's been a whole journey. And if we
Mm.
understand about journeys, it's all about just putting that one step forward, one step in front of the other, and just kind of keep at it, right?
Yes,
And whatever ideas you've got in your head, you've got to have belief that eventually, when the time is right, things will fall in place. You just have to keep doing your bit. So
yes.
that was how it all started. It started 12 years ago. It's been a hard
Sure. Wow.
hi. Did I drop out?
Yes, I think so. There is some connection issue. Okay, well, thanks, Ambreen, for sharing stories about you, how you started. In Urdu, now you are back, Ambreen. Sorry, we lost you for a moment. So, yes, उर्दू में कहावत है ना, वक्त करता है परवरिश बरसों, मौत से यकसर नहीं होते. It's all about putting your start. हिम्मत मर्दा मदद खुदा. And the reason I was smiling,
Absolutely.
क्योंकि in every show we discuss about, it's all about you, your controllables, what the things that we focus on, and just being true to your ambitions. It's you don't know when opportunity is going to strike. Some people say that it's luck, but I'm a person who doesn't much believe in luck much. For me, luck is being prepared, and when opportunity strikes, that is called luck. So being
Wonderful.
prepared, all you have to do. So this is a hard work, And luck is opportunity when opportunity meets hard work. So this is luck. If you're not prepared, I don't think so. When opportunity comes, you would be prepared or ready to take the tide, which is a high rise tide that I call. So tell me not only about this business, what you do in this business, but about the other stuff that you are doing, because you said it's your fourth child. So how, what else you doing and what exactly you do in this business?
So, so I'll have to go back into my own story. So basically, I'm qualified, Australian qualified, that because that's a big deal because Australian qualifications, it takes so long to get all your, T's in order. And so I did, I did my B.Ed from Australian Catholic University, then went on to do a master's in education leadership, then went on to do a master's in TESOL, and then went on to do further training. So I've got all these training qualifications behind me. And then I've taught at different levels as well. So I've taught kids, I've taught adults. And so in during this time, I'm obviously married. We decide to start a family. So um, this is this is almost 5 6 years 6 years into being in Australia. So we're like, okay, we've kind of partied enough. Let's start a family. So once I was expecting, because the kind of person I need to keep moving, I need to keep doing things. And so I thought, you know what, once I have the baby, I'll probably not go on a 1 year maternity leave. I am going to go on maybe a 3 months maternity leave. But then, you know how Alamia has his own plan. So he was probably looking down at me and laughing and thinking, oh, right, she's going to go on a 3 month maternity leave. We'll see. And so what happened was that I ended up having a micro premi. So micro premies are born um, 3.5 months early. So I was due in April, but my daughter was born in December. And so I went into labor in the 23rd week. And, 23rd week is basically um, very, very early, very, very early. And, they tried to help me keep the baby in because the babies need to stay in the womb for 9 months. When they come out early, there are many complications. And so I had to really take it easy, had to really slow down. And I managed to keep the baby in until the 26th week. Okay, so I managed to give myself and the baby a few extra weeks. But once my daughter arrived, it was a very difficult journey. We were in the hospital for 3 months. It was very touch and go. We didn't know if we were going to bring her home or not, and it was very. I mean, I wouldn't wish this time on my worst enemy. It was terrible. Um, and so once I brought her home, I was obsessed with her. It was all about my daughter. It was about Maliha, and it was all about being with her and trying to make sure that she's okay and that we never go back into the hospital because a lot of her NICU mates, it's so the neonatal intensive care unit, the NICU, what a dangerous place it is. And we were very fortunate that she was in Australia. My dad's a doctor, and when he came and visited us, he said, how lucky we are to be in Australia, to have these state of the art government provided facilities that help make sure that these babies that are born so early that might have very little chance elsewhere, especially in the country that we come from, that these kids were being given a chance to do well and thrive and be successful, and kind of get into the world on the right foot. And so the next 1 year from the time she was born, Alina, for till her first birthday, till I celebrated her first birthday, all I did was be with her. I quit my job, and I said, okay, just Maliha, my daughter's Maliha. And so 1 year in, I'm starting to go a bit crazy because I've worked all my life, and I've done, as you can, I've already shared, I've done so much. And so I'm telling my husband, I said I'm gonna go crazy. If I have to stay with this kid, change diapers, hear white noise anymore, something's gonna happen to me. But I don't want to go back to full-time work because I don't want to send her to daycare. That can't happen. And so that's when my my first business came into being. And so I was just randomly browsing YouTube and a video popped up about selling on Amazon. And so right now I'm an e-commerce seller. I run a brand on Amazon, and so that was something that I could do while managing Maliha. So when she slept and when she was not um, awake or what was not with me, so to say, because there might be I might take her out and she might be enjoying an activity between those times. And once I put her to bed at night, that's when I do my research. That's when I would interact with suppliers in China, and kind of manage all these other things that had to be done in order to set up this business. And so Amazon happened, and then my mom, 2 years into this, my mom moved in from Pakistan on her permanent residence. She's also a teacher, and she was keen to do something. She's like, I want to do something. And she is highly qualified herself, has taught at some of the biggest names in the country in Pakistan, and she wanted to kind of keep herself busy more than anything here in Australia. And I told her, just hang on, we'll sort something out. We might set you up a little tuition center where we can advertise around the area, and maybe kids can come and you can teach them. But then um, she wasn't too keen on that. She was looking at different options, and we ended up going to a another tutoring center to find out about franchising opportunities, because we thought, okay, let's do something a little more established. And in our
Hmm.
conversation with this friend, with this other center, the gentleman was lovely to us, but he did something that triggered something in me. So I feel like I can do a really good job at a certain things, and teaching is one of those. And while we were talking, he said, you couldn't do this yourself. This is material worth millions of dollars, and it requires such expertise. And I was like, excuse me, you're telling me I can't do this? I think I could do it, and I do it better than what has been put out there by whoever it is. So that just triggered me. And that's how Fun Fox happened, because I was like, you know what? I'm going to create my own material. Watch me.
Yes,
I'm going to do my own thing. And so
yes.
I started building the material. And in the meantime, COVID hit. So I expedited, I would stay up nights, I expedited the process so that I could get this material out. And I've always been of the thought that one needs to be of service. Like,
Hmm.
if I can be of help to someone, if I can do something for someone, I'll make sure that I do it. And so I wanted to make sure that, so initially, like, I just offered it for free. Even though I'm obviously thinking of it, I'd established this as a business, I just offered it for free to parents, initially when COVID hit, because I was like, everybody's struggling, they want something to do. So I sent out these packs for
Wow.
preschoolers just for free to parents. Give it a try, see how you go, do give me feedback if you like. And so that's how that started. And then I was working on the Writers Club, which was the first program that I launched, which is teaching kids how to write creatively, how to write explicitly, trying to kind of remember what goes into good writing, but do it in a way that's super fun. um, so that's you're asking what else do you do. I'm a full-time mom, and I think
Yes,
that takes up so much time. But
yes.
then I've got all these other things, these other little baby businesses that I've got that keep me busy. So
Wow.
yeah.
Yes. And yes, it's quite inspiring because the way you started, and I think you are one of those people who, when heard from other people that you can't do it, it just sparks a light within you, and you have to do it because they have said that you can do it. So, of course, it's good. It's quite inspiring that you started, and nowadays, like as far as I've seen, people of our culture doesn't spend so much resources or effort because I'm so much interested into creative writing. And I really like parents or my friends who has babies to work on their creative writing skills. But unfortunately, I think it's not our culture for writing and reading. So it's so good to hear that you are doing it, because I'm a creative person and I know that when I was growing up, I never received any help in this. And not just me. Nowadays, our education system has been improved so much, but there is very few people who do creative writing or who do stuff in creative writing. Now the best part of this show is managing time. Okay, so now I know you are so much ambitious, Ambreen. I can see that your kid is still here. You have managed time to come into the show. Hi. So you have managed time to come into this show. So many friends of mine want to do so many things, but they are like, I don't have time. I get so much tired after running. Even if they have one baby, two baby, they are like, after running after my kids, cooking, looking after husband and stuff, we don't have time. And you are doing so much already. So what's your day looks like, and what lesson can you give to others who are struggling for managing time after getting married or having kids? Hi, how are you?
I'm having a bit of a ball. My daughters in the night suits are running in saying, "Oh, what's going on with mom?" Because usually at this time, I try and not do anything except be with them. So between 7 and 9 is their time. Between giving them a bath, dinner, and bed before, because my older one goes to school now and the other one goes to daycare. So in terms of what you asked, Alina, I think it's about prioritize, prioritizing and being very strict with what is important. And look, there was a time where, and there are days when I am just really tired. I don't have the energy, and some things will go. I remember in the first year when I was just focused on my daughter's well being and making sure that there are no developmental delays, my house sometimes would not be clean. And I mean, I just told my husband, you choose your daughter and her well being and my mental health over a clean house. And you tell me what's more important, because I can make sure that the house is clean, I'll make sure that Maliha is okay, but then that might impact my mental well-being. And so there are conversations to be had with the people that are around you, that are close to you. It's also about slowly getting them on board and helping them understand what is important. You've got to also kind of choose your battles, which bits are you going to stress over and what bits are you going to let go. um,
Yes,
so I feel like in order to achieve a lot, I think you need to kind of look at your day as, so I don't know if you've heard of time blocking. And so I try and do that, where I try and block a chunk of the day for meetings, and then a chunk of the days for any house related tasks that I might do,
yes,
and a chunk of the day. And then you really go hard and you try and achieve as much as you can in that time. And easier said than done, I understand that. But if you're keen on achieving something, you will have to sometimes sacrifice some things. um like some days I love my sleep, but some days I sacrifice on that, because once I put the girls to bed, the warm bed's very inviting and I want to also creep in. And sometimes I'm in bed with the girls and my alarm rings, they're asleep, and my alarm rings and I know I've got to get up and I've got to work from 10 to 12 or 10 to 1, because you can't achieve we've got very limited time and you can only achieve so much in the day. And so it's a hard one, and people talk about work life balance. um, but I personally don't think there's anything called work life balance. I feel like it's work life harmony. Like, I feel we should stop. I think I'm actually wrong. We should stop talking about, because I don't know if there's a balance. Because some days, it's all about my girls and spending time with my husband, and other days it's like, guys, I need to get some work done. You might
Yes.
not see me for the next couple of days, or maybe through the next few hours, because I need to get stuff done. And it's about, for me, and the time that I spend with my friends or my family. I know that sometimes my social life suffers, because I can't be at every party. I
Hmm.
can't be out Friday
Yes.
night, every Friday night, and then expect to be there for my girls, and then expect to be then teaching on Saturday morning. But there'll be some Fridays that you'll find that I'm out in the city and the girls are being babysat by my sister, or you know or that we're all going out together as a family, and we
Yes.
return pretty late, and yet I will wake up early on a Saturday morning when everybody else is still in bed, and I'm finishing up on work or starting to teach, because I teach some Saturday morning classes as well.
Yes.
So it's a tough one, and I feel, I see those women that say that I have one kid and I run after this kid, and after I've done everything I'm just so tired.
Hmm.
But I remember when I was in university, I had this one friend who'd begun working full time. So she was full time university student, and she was working full time. And she kept, she said that I think I manage my time much better, and I'm
Hmm.
able to complete my university work, and I'm able to complete. This is back in Pakistan. This is us doing our undergrad, because I did my BA honors in English literature, and we
Yes.
were at Karachi University, and I had this one friend who kept talking about how she managed everything better because she was busier than usual. But then,
Hmm.
okay, I had to work from this time to this time, and I had this time to finish my assignments. And I think that leaves very little time to procrastinate. You're like,
Yes.
this is it, gotta get it done. And
Yes.
that's how I think a lot of mums in Australia that are also working, I think that's how they manage it,
Yes.
because you got to cook and you got to do those loads of laundry. You got to clean the house. You got to make sure the kids are okay and their science project is met. But then you've got work as well. You've got to make some work deadlines. And I think sometimes you've got to make your peace that you won't be able to get everything. But if you can get most of it, and depending on the day, some things will take precedence over the others. I think that's
Yep.
what one can do, and be like, okay, I think I did okay, I did well.
Yes, yes. And thank you, Faiza. Faiza really appreciated about work-life harmony. Faiza Hussain, she commented. And you are so right, because I was one of the girl, and I can relate as well. I was full-time uni student. I was doing BBA from Zabis, which is really hectic university. And I was working whole day, 9 to 5 corporate job. And on purpose, I had classes 6:30 to 9:30 in evening, and literally I used to leave house for my job at 7 a.m. and I used to reach home at 10:30. After that I used to make assignment, and my grades were above average. And everyone was like, and there were some of my friends who were full-time students. They used to spend whole day literally at university, and sometimes they used to flunk and their grades were lower than me, and they were like, you don't even study. But when you are so much active, and it's not, you can't learn from one thing. When you are active, your brain is active, you know how to make there, you can't flunk in anything. You have to make the most of every single second. So you are so much productive, because you feel like, okay, you have to do something. Because there are some women who spend whole day doing household chores. And I really like the idea that you brought, of letting people around you understand what you want, because that's not only our culture issue. I was hearing in our like radio the other day, 70% of women in Australia, not just South Asian women, whole Australians women, do most of the household chores, even if they are earning twice as husbands. Because
Wow.
it's a issue with, I think, not cultural, it's a world issue which has not been addressed yet. Although we are so much progress that we are paying women extra more than men sometimes, but the having to do all the household chores, I think women take this responsibility. It's not just South Asian women, it's women all across the world. The issue is more graver in South Asian women, but it's all about letting your partner understand that what you want out of life, and asking for support. It's like if you ask for support, it's your life partner, of course they would be happy to help. And the second, yes, so it was quite inspiring that you mentioned about that asking for support. And time blocking is really important. Like, just focus on something, some stuff, and just go for like crazy on that stuff, and like concentrate on that stuff. And the third thing you mentioned, just summarizing, about letting not to be okay with something because you can't control everything.
Yeah.
Perfectionists keep waiting for the right moment, whereas an opportunities make every moment right. So
Yeah.
कुछ लोगों को ऐसा होता है ना कि हम लोग एक परफेक्ट मोमेंट का, जब बच्चे बड़े हो जाएंगे, बच्चे स्कूल जाने लगेंगे, तब हम अपने कैरियर पे कंसंट्रेट करेंगे, दूसरा बच्चा हो जाएगा तब वापस से कैरियर पे जाएंगे, और फिर कल कभी नहीं आता। हम लोग हमेशा कल के लिए वेट करते रहते हैं। But opportunities like you are like, no, this is the right moment. I have to make the most of it, which is really good. So it's not like you can't achieve everything 100%, but if you achieve 80% of everything, it's a big amount. आपको
That's
हर जगह 100% अचीव करने की भी जरूरत नहीं होती, लेकिन आप 80% अगर अचीव करोगे, वो बहुत अच्छा अमाउंट होता है। 3 चीजों का अगर आप 80% अचीव करो, इट्स लाइक मोर देन 180। मुझे मैथ्स नहीं आती थी, लेकिन वो 100% से ज्यादा होता है, rather than एक
140%.
तो rather than एक चीज का 100% अचीव करो। सो इट्स ओके, एक मरतबा आपने घर क्लीन नहीं किया, लेट योर पार्टनर हेल्प यू, इवन यू कैन आस्क योर किड्स हेल्प यू, बिकॉज I have seen Australian moms ask their, I was working for a lady, she was like more than a millionaire, and she had around 8-year-old kid, and she was like, I'll ask her to clean her room, and I'm like, wow, हमारी यहाँ पे women, नहीं, I can't ask a kid to help me, and मेरी मम्मा ने, to be very honest, मुझसे 8-10 साल की उम्र में काम नहीं करवाया था, but when I see women, it's like, and this is the way it's supposed to be. You don't need to do all the work, you should delegate, right? So,
I'm
and and
absolutely.
Ambreen, the last thing, uh, whoever comes in my show, I always ask them to share their ikigai. Ikigai means reason for being. So, what's your ikigai in your life? And we will end the show with that.
So, if I was to really think about it, Alina, I would say that um, I come from a place of service. Like, I genuinely want to help. Even within our program, we put up this system in place very early on that if a parent is struggling financially and they reach out to us, obviously we'd cross check. But if you feel that you want your child to do this, but you can't afford it for whatever reason, single parent, um, financial difficulty, who knows what one may be experiencing, we put scholarships in place. So if you reach out and tell us that financially, this, you're stopping your child's growth, because you're financially unable to manage it, we would help. Like I said, when we first started, I'm more than happy to give out free sessions just so that I can help. I also want, because I had to come back to teaching because I'm so passionate about it. Touch wood, my Amazon business is doing okay, and I could have continued down that path, and I'm still running it. I mean, no doubt. But I really genuinely feel like I want to help kids. I want to change the way education is imparted to our primary school students. I wanted to start primary and then move into high school. So I'm officially a high school teacher, but I wanted to set the base right for the primary school kids so that when they move into high school, whether I can teach them or not, their foundation is so strong that they are not going to struggle through high school. They have all the knowledge and information, so that they can enjoy their learning much more and not struggle with the basics. And that I find is and has become sort of my purpose in life, to be able to shake up the education industry. I find it so frustrating because because I run this, I get all these um, ads on Facebook and Instagram. Is your child struggling? Get them math tutoring. And your child isn't doing well at school, get them such and such into such and such center. And I feel like, why do we have to wait for our kids to struggle? Why can we not empower them beforehand? Why can we not give them the tools for them to thrive, instead of first let them struggle, let them do terribly, and then we're going to somehow give them the support. So
Yes.
there's much to it, but absolutely, wanting to change the story of all the kids that come and interact with us and be part of their journey. There is this big belief in Satkai Jariya, right? We believe that आप कुछ ऐसा करके जाओ that is going to pay you even after you depart from this world. So I hope that what me and my team, that is, so this is Funfox is uh, co-founded by me and my siblings. So I'm like the big head and the vision behind it, but I'm supported by my husband, my two sisters, and my brother, my mom and dad, my in-laws. And I feel like, and then there is a lot of other people that we have gotten on board that are employees at Funfolks. And I hope that all of us, as we work on this together, this becomes Satkai Jariya for us. And we're able to benefit as many kids and as many families as possible through this little program of ours.
And really, you have inspired so many people today. I'm just reading a comment, Mashku Ali. Hats off to all the superwomen who are managing both family and work together. Respect. So, yes, hats off. I can't do that. I think that's why I don't have family, but you have done it and you have inspired me, so many other women, men as well, who are saying hats off to you. So, you are a literally super. And thanks for giving me time. And hopefully, I'll see you in some other show. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
And have a good
Absolutely.
have a good
Thank
night.
you. Thank you. It was an absolute pleasure to be here. Thank you. Bye.